pushed him out of bounds.
And so the flag will give Berkley new life down near the goal line.
Here's an example of what we just talked about, beating that defensive back to the corner. The quarterback just airs the ball out, and the receivers to go to the corner. Unfortunately, when the defensive back recovered, he got caught pushing him out of bounds. That's 15 and a first down.
Andy Abro, the man who was charged with that, so they will put it down at the 5-yard line, and it will be first down. We'll see if we can see this any differently from ground level. I think the last replay showed it.
Well, as you can see, Trevor Miles, the quarterback, all he's really doing is just airing that ball out. He throws it to the corner of the end zone and makes the receiver run after it.
So now the defense will have to stiffen with 2:15 to go in the second quarter. Ashcroft is wrapped up and thrown down by Johnny Hackle and Sarmat Sanawi after about either a 1-yard pickup or a no gainer. And so it'll be second down and goal from the 5.
You'll notice that the Chargers have dropped into a goal line. We got an injury too, I see.
Yeah, it might be Ashcroft because he really got nailed that time. No, it's Fairman.
He's holding his shin.
It is Eric Fairman, I believe, number 50, who is grabbing his left leg.
Shin or ankle, hard to tell.
And now Pat Fox and company coming out to check on what has transpired. Well, it's a tough way to go. I'll tell you, there could be some leg cramps in the heat today too, Gary. I know that you have coached, no matter how you prepare the kids, you just never know how they're going to react running up and down the field in the heat. It's really not humid, but it's warm, and you're in full pads and everything, and playing back and forth, maybe more football in one game than you played the whole preseason.
Well, I think you're right there, Jim. And what happens in weather like this, you try to keep as many fluids as available as possible on the sidelines. And you remind your players all the time, grab a drink. Keep the fluids in your body, keep your body conditioned and warm and working all the time. I think this is an injury that might be unrelated to that, though. I think he probably just took a good, swift kick on the shin. And let me tell you, that hurts.
Well, we want to talk to you a little bit about where we will be next week, and it will be at Ferndale High School. The Eagles of John Bazier and the Southfield Blue Jays. The Blue Jays coming up with a victory over Brighton last night, and Ferndale getting shut out in their contest against Warren yesterday, and we're hoping that both teams will be at their peak to start the Southeastern Michigan Association season, and we'll have it. Frank Plakas will be back, and we will be with you 1 week from tonight, whichever night you would like to watch us, whichever night you like to tape us, 7:30 Sunday, 7:30 on Wednesday. Total offense in this game, Berkley 91 yards, and the Lathrup Chargers 144. So it's kind of getting a little bit even, and what 62 of those 144 for Lathrup coming on that scoring drive. First down, make it second down, and goal at the 5. Trevor Miles fumbles the football, and fortunately, either Carson or Ashcroft turned around and came back and jumped on it. It was Carson, number 20, who came back and jumped on it, and it will be a 6-yard loss.
And that was Tim Wimes. That was Tim Wimes.
Who caused the fumble?
Yeah, I think you'll see what happened there.
So, third down and goal. They move the ball back to the 11-yard line. That's a huge defensive play by the Lathrup Chargers. And again, their quickness off the line, Gary, has been very, very impressive. They really haven't given Miles an awful lot of time to think about what he wants to do.
Well, they've gotten out of their goal line, so we'll see what happens here on third down.
He's going to pass. Miles throws, and it is intercepted by Richard Harrison, and down he goes. It was number 45, Richard Harrison, who came awful close to blocking a punt a little while ago. We'll watch number 45 moving to the right side of your screen.
That's a perfect example, as you can see in that replay, of one of the difficult parts of having a quarterback. A difficult job for a quarterback who's only 5'8", is that young man, Trevor Miles, had trouble seeing over the offensive line. He basically just threw that ball up for grabs.
Well, a minute and change, and now we're down to just change. 58 seconds to go, and it'll be about 50 before they snap it.
Jimmy, you got to point out here, too, Chargers have to be very careful right here. They're at the 1-yard line. A little slip or a fumble, and Berkley could pick up a quick score.
Yeah, they want to go right up the middle, and Tiki Ghosh knows exactly what he wants to do, and he plows up the middle among the tacklers. Adam Perry, the 6', 200-pound junior.
I think you'll see the same thing one more time.
3 yards. Second down, 7 yards to go from deep in their own territory. So a turnover, very costly for Berkley. They were in the midst of an extremely impressive drive, including a 40-yard pass to Jeff Burks from Trevor Miles. And so this will be the last play of the quarter, and Tiki Ghosh holds on. However, a flag was dropped, and it can be one of two things, either a delay or Marvin Foles lined up offside.
No, not Marvin. He wouldn't do that.
No, not intentionally, but
No, Marvin wouldn't do that.
so somebody lined up offside.
Berkley's got one more chance for a safety. Anything's possible.
Ball is back at the, we'll call it the 3-yard line. And Berkley has indeed called timeout. It's question is why they wouldn't decline. Well, actually, it was a dead ball
Well,
foul.
it's a dead ball foul,
So
but I
the
think
clock doesn't start.
as I said before, with the ball inside the 5-yard line like that, what Pat Fox is going to tell his defense right now is get your hands on that ball. Let's slap that ball loose and go for the fumble, possibly roll it into the end zone, and it's a touchdown. So you'll see a lot of hands slapping the ball out of Tiki Ghosh's hands on this play.
We would like you to help us celebrate local cable programming week, the week of September 9th through the 15th. Tune in to LO11 each night at 7:30 and see the best of local cable programming. Shows like Cable Highlights, World Travel and Adventure Series, and of course, the big high school football showdown that weekend between St. Mary's and Country Day. Turn on LO11 and find out why local cable programming is TV that hits home. So that's what the lowdown is on local cable programming week. And looking at some of the previews for some of the high school teams, we know that is going to be a superlative matchup. Got a lot of good games for you besides our regular rivalry games, even though normal rivalry games are good too. Tiki Ghosh tries to run over, if you will, Andy Grossman's side of the field, and that is the end of the first half of play from Southfield Lathrup. And so the Lathrup Chargers have shut down the Berkley Bears. They put 7 on the board themselves, and so after one half of play, it's the Chargers 7, the Bears nothing, and we'll be back with our halftime activities in just a moment.
Beat in Sports is on CNN.
Talk about unusual. How often do you see transparent televisions?
Americans have more money to spend on leisure activities than ever before.
When possible, children should trick or treat during daylight hours and be accompanied by at least one adult.
A boat, archaeologists believe, is from the time Jesus and his disciples fished on the Galilee.
For best results, fertilize your lawn when it is actively growing.
Many people suffer from allergies. Few understand them.
Let's eavesdrop on the Nickelodeon switchboard, where Elmer is making party plans.
Can you come over? Well, unexpected, we're having a chicken dinner.
I'll be right there.
I have to go into Capital City in the morning to do some shopping, but I'll be back in the early afternoon.
I'll see if I'm free to come to dinner.
Unfortunately, Matt had to run some errands for Mrs. Wilson.
Oh, man, I hate when she makes me pick up pantyhose.
For more right connections, keep in touch with the only network for you.
West Bloomfield, Southfield Lathrup, Oak Park, and the Pontiac Silverdome are just some of the places you'll find LO11 Sports this fall for our coverage of the high school football game of the week. In addition to the action, we'll highlight our academic athlete of the week and visit the Coach's Corner. This is Jim Shaffron, hoping you'll get into our sports by joining Frank Plakus and me every Sunday and Wednesday at 7:30 for the high school football game of the week right here on LO11. Jim Shaffron back visiting with you for a few minutes at halftime, and one of the things that we want to do is to alert you to what is coming up during the remainder of our high school football coverage. Next week we'll have the SMA battle between Southfield and Ferndale. One of the great rivalries, one of the new ones we have found, is Country Day and St. Mary's. You'll get a chance to see Tyrone Wheatley, one of the folks that they say is the #1 football player in the state of Michigan, taking on the Oak Park Redskins. And we'll follow that up with the Dondero West Bloomfield MSA matchup. The following week, we'll come right back here and see with the West Bloomfield Lakers and the Lathrup Chargers, the Boys Bowl, Catholic Central and Brother Rice. And then a wild card week. We'll either go to the SAC, the SMA, or the MSA. We'll figure out which game is the best. We'll bring it to you. Southfield and Southfield Lathrup at the Dome, and we won't have to take the equipment home. We're going to leave it there because the next day we'll have the Central Division Prep Bowl. It comes to you every Sunday night at 7:30, every Wednesday night at 7:30, and during our football coverage, we'll tell you about our girls basketball coverage, which will include a few games during the football season, and then we'll go a little bit crazier as we continue on after the football season is over with. Well, Buddy's Pizza is proud to present Coach's Corner, and this week from Southfield Lathrup, it gives us a great pleasure to go visit Daryl Harper at home.
13 years ago, when I became athletic director, I thought at this point I would move on and become athletic director and forget the coaching, but I went right in and became an assistant coach right after that. And then when Bob Martin retired, I came back as head coach. So I've never been out of it. And I even think now, down the road, when I retire from athletic director in the Southfield Public Schools, I'm still going to coach. I think I've come to the realization that you win with people, you win with kids. And it's very important to keep up with the technology, and I think I've improved dramatically as a football coach. I think the technology of football has changed dramatically from when I was a youngster and playing at Royal Oak and then at the University of Michigan. We were not allowed to touch the weights. Weight training was verboten. Anybody that did that, they were told not to do it. They were afraid of people becoming muscle-bound. And today, everybody trains with weights. Nutrition, nobody talked about nutrition. The biggest problem we have today is motivation and getting kids involved. There's so many things on television and jobs and so many other activities that kids aren't, the motivation to belong in athletics is not as great. So it's our bigger role now is to get kids involved. And once we get them, I think they're fine, but it's hard to get them out there. Obviously, when you're a football coach, your family is very important because you spend a great deal of time at the school and scouting and coaching, and even in the summer. This summer with my secretary Sue Voss and my line coach Brian Shrimp, we've developed the playbook, the current edition for our kids, so it's taken a lot of time this summer. But so my family is very important, and they have to make a lot of concessions to me and time-wise and what have you, but we do a lot of things together. My daughter, Wendy, is currently involved in the pom-pom team at Milford Lakeland. She's a volleyball player and a track runner. She's also a dancer. She's been involved in dance for 13 years. I have two older kids. My son played football, and my daughter was a cheerleader, so they've all been involved in activities and athletics in their life. My wife is a teacher in Pontiac School. She's a former coach in swimming, tennis. We do a lot of things. We play a lot of golf. That's our main thing, my wife and I.
And next week we will visit the house that Cal built. Cal Fletcher, the Southfield Blue Jays coach, will be in the Coach's Corner next week. We hope you enjoyed it, and we thank Buddies for being a part of our Coach's Corner for the 1990 football season. And now Harbor Drugs is back with us as they sponsor our Academic Athletes of the Week. And we point out a man who we haven't really talked much about, but he's kind of the silent member of the Lathrup Chargers offensive line, the man in the middle, Derek Bishop. And Derek finished last season with a 3.7 grade point average. He has his sights set on the University of Michigan, where he would like to major in engineering. And we should also point out that Derek is a shot putter on the track team and is a supporter of all